Hello, my name is Norma Manabney and I'm a subject librarian at Queen's University in Belfast. This very short presentation is to provide some context to systematic literature reviews in order to explain the process and also the quality resources. What does that mean? Now, when we talk about systematic literature reviews, in a library context, we're actually referring to the searching and the fact that the searching is systematic. Now, this actually means we're carrying out thorough searching using the advanced options that are presented within literature databases. Literature databases which are used for systematic reviews are often a subscription-based set of resources, and therefore access depends on the institution to which you're registered. There are some free resources, good quality literature within databases that are available to everyone. But in order to get a comprehensive and full literature review completed, it is important to have access to all the relevant resources. Now, when we're searching systematically in the context of systematic reviews, the search criteria and the process are documented in the written work. This means that everything that you carry out in the searching process, from the search terms to the inclusion and exclusion criteria, the date range, etc., all of it is explained in the written work. You would also note the databases so that anyone coming along that reads it will know exactly which resources you have used. In a standard literature review, you may carry out the same process, but unless stated otherwise, the search criteria and the process is not documented in the written work. So slightly different. However, what most people find is that once you learn how to search systematically in a thorough way, you use it regardless. Now, to keep a clear mind of systematic reviews in the wider context of standard literature reviews, this table outlines the difference between them. For a standard literature review, the author will gather and interpret the selected literature on a topic. The research then is presented in the context of what the author wants to show in their work. With a systematic review, the author identifies and presents all the available literature, whether or not they agree with it or not, so it can be positive and negative studies. In a standard literature review, the author selects and judges the literature. So the opinion of the author is brought to bear with evidence from the academic literature, from the good quality content that they have found, but they will select what they will present. For a systematic review, the author selects for relevance against the research question, and it is the reader that judges the literature. So everything is presented, and the reader then makes judgments on the literature. In a standard literature review, the selection criteria and search methodology are not always made explicit, and therefore may reflect the biases of the author. In other words, the reader cannot see what was found versus what was presented. In a systematic review, the search criteria and inclusion, exclusion criteria are made explicit. They are clearly presented in the written work, and therefore they're open to scrutiny and may also be replicated by a third party. You may find that when you carry out a systematic review, or you're searching for literature in a thorough way, you will identify systematic reviews, and from them you will be able to see the search terminology, the databases that were used, and if the question is applicable and you want to run the search again, then that document would explain how to do it. Now, to get a context around the peer review, in other words, the good quality literature that we would be searching for when we look for material for systematic reviews, then the understanding of peer review is that when academic journals are presented, or articles from academic journals are presented, it means that they have been subject to some scrutiny. It's a form of academic quality control. An editorial board will exist, whereby the experts are academics and professionals in the field, in practice, in industry, and before the articles are approved for publication, they are looked at and scrutinised by these experts on the editorial board. That way, we can be sure that the academic journals that are peer-reviewed are of the standard that we do not need to question. Most, if not all, the materials that are referred to in university work will be peer-reviewed. But there are other types of materials that you may want to use, and these will be discussed. To find out if a journal is peer-reviewed, you can select journal databases which will have either only peer-reviewed content, or there will be an option on the database to return results which are from peer-reviewed sources. In addition, you can look at the journal's initial pages or web page, and you can see there if there's any information on the peer review process. It normally is found under the About tab, and in there you can often see who is actually involved in the editorial board. This final slide explains the process that's involved for searching systematically in the context of the whole process of systematic reviews. You'll see the green areas refer to areas that the library can help with, and we'll discuss these in detail in the next recordings.